Hello everyone, Tamil B Squad. Today is the topic about understanding writing. The student writers on this page are ready for adventure. One student wants to revisit an important memory. Another student wants to write about something she saw on the way to school. You, on the other hand, may want to slip into the uncharted world of your imagination. Writing allows for all three types of adventures plus many more. Once the words start flowing, you will find yourself asking, wow, where are these ideas taking me? You won't know until your writing is complete. That's what makes writing an adventure. But writing will certainly help you better understand yourself and the world around you. That's what makes it so important. Become a student of writing. To become a writer, you should think and act like one. Follow the tips below and you will be headed in the right direction. Write every day, same time, same place. You set aside time to practice a musical instrument or an athletic skill. Do the same with your writing. Become a regular reader. Reading will help you see how effective stories and essays are put together. Read anything and everything: books, blogs, magazines, newspapers, even the backs of cereal boxes. Write about subjects that truly interest you. Or, as Tamara Pierce, author of the Song of the Lioness, says, write about what makes you want to write more. Write as well as you can by your own standards. Writing authority William Zinsser states, quality is its own reward, so set high standards for yourself. Experiment with different forms of writing: stories, essays, poems, reports, blogs. They all have something special to teach you about writing. Learn the craft of writing. Know the traits of writing. Understand the difference between description and narration, between anecdote and metaphor, and so on. Think of writing as a process, not as an end product. Writing must go through a series of steps before it really begins to take shape. Preview of the writing process. No two writers work in exactly the same way, but they all follow a process as they write. Here, how Thomas J. Dygert, author of Running Scared, writes: I go as fast I can from start to finish on the first draft. Then I rewrite and rewrite. I'm lucky. I enjoy every bit of the process. You will personalize the writing process over time, but it generally includes these 5 steps. Pre-writing. At the start of a project, writers explore possible subjects before selecting a topic to write about. Then they collect details about their topic and make a writing plan. Writing. Writers then complete a first draft using their plan as a general guide. This draft is their first look at a developing story or essay. Revising. After reviewing their first draft, writers improve it by changing any parts that are not clear or complete. They may ask a peer to review the draft as well. Editing. Writers then check their revised writing for conventions such as punctuation and capitalization to ensure that their work is error free. They proofread the final copy for errors too. Publishing. Publishing is to a writer what an exhibit is to an artist: an opportunity to share the finished work with others. This step makes all of the other ones worth completing. The writing process in action. These 2 pages show how the writing process works. The graphics below shows that you can move back and forth between the steps in the process. Pre-writing. Choosing a topic. To get started, search for a meaningful writing idea. If you need help, check out the selecting strategies listed in the handbook. Choose a specific topic that truly interests you and meets the requirements of the assignment. Gathering details. Learn as much as you can about a topic before you write. If you need help, refer to the collecting strategies listed in the handbook. Think of an important part of your subject to write about. This is your thesis or focus. Decide which details to include in your writing and how best to organize them. Writing. Writing the first draft. Write the first draft of your essay or story. Remember that this is a discovery draft, a first look at a writing idea. Work in the details you have collected and add new ones that come to mind as you write. Keep going until you get all of your ideas on paper. Your writing should include a beginning, a middle, and an ending. Revising. Improving your writing. Review your first draft, but only after setting it aside for a while. Ask at least one other person to react to your writing. Decide which parts need to be changed. One paragraph may be hard to follow. Another paragraph may need more details. Still, another one may be in the wrong place. Rewriting, reordering, adding, or cutting. These are the common revisions strategies you will use. Pay special attention to the beginning and ending parts. They should emphasize the importance of your thesis or focus. Editing, checking for conventions. Check your revised writing for convention errors. Use your handbook. Also, ask a reliable classmate to check your work. Prepare a neat final copy of your writing. Proofread this copy for errors. Publishing. Sharing your writing. Share your finished work with your writing peers, friends, or other intended audience. Decide if you are going to include the writing in a portfolio. Consider submitting your work to a school publication, a writing contest, a blog site, and so on. The writing situation. Writing for yourself in a personal notebook or journal is one thing. You can pretty much say what you want. Writing that you plan to share or publish is quite another thing. You must approach this type of writing with much more care and deliberation. One of the first things to consider is the dynamics of the writing situation. Your subject, your purpose, and your audience. The illustration shows how these elements work together. Understanding the traits of writing. When all is right in your writing world, you will know exactly what you want to say. Suppose you have just been selected for a solo performance in the spring concert. When writing about this event, the thoughts should flow from your pen or fingertips. But what would you work in this way for a science report? Probably not. For this type of assignment, you need help. Two tools that will make your job easier are the writing process, which you already know about, and the traits of writing. The writing process provides you with steps to follow, and the traits identify key features to consider along the way. Ideas. Effective writing presents interesting and valuable information about a specific subject. It has a clear message or purpose. The ideas are thoroughly developed and hold the reader's attention. Organization. In terms of basic structure, good writing has a clearly developed beginning, middle, and ending. Within the text, each main point and the supporting details are arranged according to the best pattern of organization. Voice. In the best writing, you can hear the writer's voice, his or her special way of expressing ideas and emotions. Voice gives writing personality. It shows that the writer sincerely cares about his or her subject and audience. Word choice. Simply put, good writing contains good words. Nouns and verbs are specific, modifiers are colorful, and the overall level of language helps communicate a particular message or tone. Sentence fluency. Effective writing flows smoothly and clearly from one sentence to the next, but it is not by any means predictable. Sentences will vary in length and they won't all begin in the same way. Sentence smoothness or fluency gives writing rhythm, which helps make it enjoyable to read. Conventions. Good writing follows the basic standards of punctuation, capitalization, spelling, and grammar. It is edited with care to ensure that the work is accurate and easy to follow. The traits in action. On the next 3 pages, student writing examples illustrate the effective use of each trait. Ideas. Discussion. In effective writing, the topic and supporting details hold the reader's interest from start to finish. In the following passage, John shares many interesting ideas about his grandfather's favorite soup. Discussion. John identifies his unusual topic in the beginning part. Then he provides specific details to describe it. Organization. Good writing is easy to follow because it is organized from beginning to end. In the following passage, Anna skillfully arranges the information about an Indian tribe's dying language. Discussion. Anna uses linking words and phrases such as otherwise, if on the other hand to help show the relation between her ideas. The Ho-Chunk language is fast approaching extinction. Linguist Joshua Fishman says that language is at stage 7, meaning that it does not have some speakers. These speakers must set up learning nest to teach the language to younger members of the tribe. Otherwise, the language will soon enter stage 8, the last stage before extinction, if on the other hand the language manages a rebirth. Voice. In the best writing, you can hear the writer's voice or special way of saying things. In the following passage, Marcus Tyler's voice connects with his classmates, his intended audience. Football may be king in the United States. Baseball may consume sports fans in Japan, but badminton dominates the sports sense in Indonesia. Badminton. That's right. The game Americans play at picnics in the national pastime in Indonesia. In fact, badminton has become so popular and so important in Indonesia that the country is now recognized as the superpower of the sport. Discussion. Marcus uses an engaging, almost conventional voice to share his information. Factual writing does not have to be dry and dull. Word choice. Good writing contains specific nouns, verbs, and modifiers. In the following passage, Judy Perry discusses a special African headgear. As you will see, she pays special attention to the words that she uses. Headgear has always carried importance in many African cultures. Some types identify the wearer's value trade, such as blacksmithing. Other types signify royalty. Chiefs in the Congo Kingdom, for example, have adorned special caps to highlight their lofty status. To create these caps, Congo artists traditionally work with cotton thread or with threads carefully stripped from palm leaf fibers. The artist wrapped or looped the threads in a spiral weave to form the cap. Then they used dyed thread to add a repeated geometric pattern around the cap. Sentence fluency. Effective writing flows smoothly from sentence to sentence. In the following page about rulers in Paraguay, Christina Sung pays special attention to sentence variety in order to achieve fluency. Many corrupt, ruthless leaders have made life miserable for the people of Paraguay. Francisco Solano Lopez may have been the worst. He involved Paraguay in 3 wars against 3 different neighbors, Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay, all the same time. These wars reduced the country's population from 5,25,000 to 2,21,000. What else needs to be said about these men? Then there is Dr. Francia, Paraguay's first president, who named himself dictator for life and ruled through ruthless suppression and random acts of terror. Discussion. Notice how Sung varies her sentence beginnings, types, and lengths. The longest sentence contains 24 words and the shortest contains 6 words. Conventions. Good writing is carefully edited for conventions, punctuation, capitalization, spelling, and grammar, and presentation, arrangement on the page. In the following paragraph, Michael Curry pays careful attention to conventions. Scientists in Venezuela have discovered the remains of a buffalo-sized rodent that lived 8 million years ago. The remains were found in Urumaco, a small town west of Caracas, the nation's capital. One scientist claims that during the late Mayacan epoch, the Urekmana region was the land of giants. Along with Gynanzilla, huge turtles, crocodiles, and fish inhabited the area. Connecting the process and the traits. To make a pizza, you need a crust, sauce, cheese, and perhaps an additional topping or two. To develop a piece of writing, you need ingredients such as ideas, organization, voice, and so on. This chart shows you which traits to focus on during each of the steps in the writing process. Process traits chart. Pre-writing. Under pre-writing, we have ideas, organization, and voice. Ideas. What topic should I write about? What part of the topic should I focus on? What details should I include? Organization. How should I organize my details? Which graphic organizer should I use for my planning? Voice. What is my attitude about the topic? Next, writing. Under writing, they have also three topics: ideas, organization, and voice. Ideas. What do I want to say? Organization. How do I want to arrange my ideas? Voice. How do I want to sound? Revising. Ideas. Are my ideas clear and complete? Organization. Does each part work well? Voice. Have I used the most appropriate voice? Word choice. Have I used specific nouns and active verbs? Sentence fluency. Are my sentences varied? Do they read smoothly? Editing. Conventions. Have I used correct punctuation, capitalization, spelling, and grammar? Publishing. All traits presentation. Have I used the traits effectively? Does my design make my ideas clear? Using rubrics. Suppose you and your friend Jared are talking and you happen to say, I saw Rocketeer 2 over the weekend and it was awesome. Jared says, oh yeah, what was so good about it? Well, you reply, it had a lot of action and ha. Not much for Jared to go on, is it? To give a better review, you would have to know which traits are used to evaluate movies, things like plot, characters, camera, work, and so on. You might have better luck reviewing a story or an article because you know or will soon learn about the traits of effective writing. Rubrics are charts that help the evaluate writing according to these traits. This book contains traits based rubrics for narrative, expository, persuasive, and workplace writing, as well as for responding to literature. What's ahead? Understanding rubrics, using a rubric, assessing in action, and evaluating tips. Understanding rubrics. A rubric helps you make meaningful changes to your writing. The rubric for narrative writing is shown below. You can use a rubric to assess writing in progress or writing that is ready to publish. Rubric for narrative writing. Ideas. The writing focuses on a specific experience or time in the writer's life. Uses sensory details and dialogue to show rather than tell. Makes the reader want to know what happens next. Organization. Pulls the reader into the story. Includes a beginning, a middle, and an ending. Gives the events in an order that is easy to follow. Voice. Shows the writer's personality. Sounds honest and engaging. Word choice. Contains specific nouns, vivid verbs, and colorful modifiers. Sentence fluency. Flows smoothly from one idea to the next. Uses a variety of sentence lengths and the beginnings. Conventions. Uses correct punctuation, capitalization, spelling, and grammar. Uses the format provided by the teacher or follows another effective design. Using a rubric. There are two ways in which a rubric can be used to assess your writing: the checkmark method and the numbering method. Using checkmarks. You can put a checkmark next to a description if the writing for the most part matches the description. Leaving a line unchecked indicates that there is still work to be done. In the simple assessment that follows, the writer feels that the narrative cloud used more dialogue and sensory details. Ideas. The writing focuses on one experience or time in the writer's life, uses dialogue and sensory details, makes the reader want to know what happens next. Using numbers. You can also use numbers to rate the effectiveness of the writing for each description. Here is one rating scale that you could use. In the simple assessment that follows, the number 3 indicates that the narrative contains some dialogue and sensory details, but it needs more of these elements. Note, the lower the number, the less the writing meets the description. Ideas. The writing focuses on one experience or time in the writer's life, uses dialogue and sensory details, makes the reader want to know what happens next.